everybody, Richard again here from Electric Classic Cars, and it's time to give you another race car update. Let's get into it. Now, most of the work that's been happening on this lately has actually been underneath the skin. So, to show you what I mean, my glamorous assistant Tim, I need your help. We'll get the front off and show you what's underneath.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So now we've got the front off the car, you can see kind of one of the major things that's recently happened, and that is the chassis has now been powder coated and we're starting to put it back together. So what do we have to do now, apart from actually attach all the various things like steering boxes, steering rack and bevel box? We have to actually make up the panels that go around the actual car so that we haven't got a hurricane of wind going through the cockpit when you're driving it. So we've done all the kind of side bits here, we've got to do this bit on top, and once we've done all that, we then got to obviously fit things like the battery boxes and motor. But that's the first thing we've got to do now, is just custom build all these various different panels just to stop that wind going through the car. So next thing, let's show you inside the car. Now, interior wise, we're pretty much finished, although it doesn't look like it, we are, because the side panels are all done. Over there you can see they've been installed and painted. We've got the floor pan in as well, so all that's been done. The seat mounts are done, and the rear panels are done as well. And you're probably wondering, why have we done these panels here, but not these ones up here? Well, these are going to be Lexan, so we can see through in with rear view mirror, obviously, and these don't have to be. So we've also sealed these in as well, just to stop any rattling and vibrations, but equally just a bit better wind protection as well. So yeah, inside, pretty much ready just to put the seat in and pedals. And, oh, well, actually, first thing we've got to put in is the battery boxes, because they are big lumps. So, yeah, interior-wise, pretty much finished waiting for that. But let's have a look at the rear. Now, I'm sitting where the big Tesla motor is going to be mounted, and obviously by my bum is going to be the battery pack, so we've got 3 in this, don't forget. But again, in the rear, floor pans in, and the main thing that the guys are working on right now is actually the cowling, if you like, for the radiator. That's the main radiator that's going to be cooling down the motors. The one for the battery pack is up front. So these are going to be connected to here via some big hoses that's going to come around there. And then these ones here, which look at it like robot arms at the moment, need to be kind of mounted around about there and then join up to the air inlets on the tops of the rear wings. So that's what the guys are working on at the moment. But I can't hold back my excitement any longer. I'm afraid we're going to have to close up the rear shell and show you my surprise that I got in store for you, which is my wheels have arrived. Let's have a look at those. Now, I've got my big happy face on now because these have just arrived this week, and another 2 on top, obviously. They've taken some time because they are custom made, but just give you a bit of context to these before I reveal them to you. I'm a Porsche and VW nut, so the design of these will be instantly recognisable to anybody else out there that knows their Porsches or has been into VWs for some time. So, without further ado, because Tim's itching to see them as well, because he hasn't seen them yet either, I shall reveal to you the race car wheels. Ta-da! Look at them! So these are kind of Fuchs-inspired wheels. They are 18-inch diameter, and I think this is something like 10.5-inch wide, and this is 8.5-inch wide. But yeah, just look at them. I'm in love with these wheels. In fact, I think we should put them on the car. I haven't even seen what they look like on the car yet.
That's a good idea. Let's do it.
Should we put them on the car?
Yeah, let's do it.
We've got to be really careful with them, because if I damage these, Tony will kill me. Right, come on, let's put them on the car and see what they look like. Oh yeah, check these out. I mean, I hope they come out as good on camera as they are in real life, because Image Wheels that made these wheels credit to you guys, because these are just masterpieces. I've been waiting for a while. I mean, obviously anything that's custom made is going to be a waiting list, but I just didn't know if reality was going to match my expectations. But I can honestly say I am over the moon. The reality is probably exceeded expectations. They are just the best wheels I've ever had, quite frankly. I'm a happy man. So one problem that they've created, if you like, is the fact that they're quite a bit wider than the arches. Now, we did that for a practical reason. We have to get all that power to the ground. And the original wheels that were on this car, there's no way on hell or earth that they were going to be able to cope with the power. So we had to go with wider tyres all around. That's four-wheel drive, don't forget, because originally this was not a four-wheel drive car. So let's have a chat about the problem that we're now having to overcome, which is essentially extending the arches, for the very good reason that we got these cool wheels in the arches. Now, what we're aiming for with this whole process is for the wing curve to seamlessly contour out and stop about there, and allow the wheel and tyre to tuck up into it if need be. So what we've done is we've calculated where that end point for the wing needs to be, and we've created this lip in metal just so that we know where the wing ends needs to be. And then the next step is to actually start contouring this out to see what that's going to look like. So on the front wing, we've started that process. So the rear is going to be 2.5 inches wider. The front's going to be 3 inches wider. So now you can see, still got that metal lip underneath there for a reference point of where it needs to end. And we've started to use some card and some tape just to kind of get an idea as to what the shape of the wing is going to look like, and that front splitter as well, what it's going to look like when it's all finished. So next step after this, then, our fiberglass guy Rich is going to create some new wings for us off this template, and actually then going to create some molds as well, because it is a race car. They are going to get destroyed at some point, and we are going to need replacement wings. So he's going to make molds for all 4 wings, and then we'll be ready to rock and roll with taking up to paint, hopefully. So what do you think of that? And more importantly, what do you think of the wheels? That's what I want to know. Do you like them as much as I do? Tim, what do you reckon of the wheels?
I think they're great. I think they're stunning.
They are nice, aren't they?
Yeah, really cool.
So comments below, what do you think of these wheels? Now, there's another thing that's come back from the powder coaches as well, and that is the battery boxes. So we've got 3 battery boxes here. They're a little bit empty, but they are ready to rock and roll, as are the coolant plates. We just need one more ingredient to make the magic work, and that is the batteries, which are all down here. Now, the battery pack itself is laid out behind me, and I'll come to that in a minute as to why we've done that. But just a little bit of information on the batteries themselves. What we've got is 18 LG Chem modules, and they're out of Chrysler Pacifica, I believe, which never made it to Europe. It's a US car. And the reason why we've used these second-hand modules out of that vehicle is because the C rating of these batteries is fantastic. And the C rating, for those that don't know, is kind of the amount of power and amps, if you like, that these batteries are comfortable giving in short spurts. So for performance applications, these battery modules are fantastic. I've used them before. In fact, they're in my Beetle, my road-going Beetle. So we've got 18 of these here, and they're going to be in a 6S 3P configuration. And what I wanted to show you is, these are second-hand battery modules, so they have to go through some rigorous quality control procedures before we accept them to get used. And I want to show you one that's failed, because it's not that apparent as to why this has failed, because, it looks quite normal. It holds its charge. In fact, it holds 2.5 kilowatts of charge, which is kind of about what the rest of them do. So why has this one failed QC? Well, it's because it's not exactly square. So there's 16 pouch cells in this individual module, and what's happened is the pouches have actually ballooned and swollen a little bit. So that's why it's not flat. In fact, it'll probably become pretty apparent if I put this one next to this one, you'll see how high it's got, or if Tim zooms in, you can actually see it's bananaed a little bit at the bottom as well. But if I lay it next to this one here, look how much taller that is from there to there. So that's why this one has failed QC and won't get used. Now you're right up to date with the project, because overnight tonight we're doing something that anybody that's into EV conversions knows full well what we're doing, which is we're balancing the batteries. So all these batteries are obviously second-hand, and they might have started at different voltages when we received them, but that's no good to us. We want them all to be at the same voltage when they're full, so that essentially they can deplete and then recharge at the same level each time. So we're balancing the batteries tonight. So all of these in the morning will be perfectly synchronized and in balance, and then they can go in the battery boxes and then into the car. Happy days. Right, there you go. That's your update for this week. And I think next time we're going to have a 45 kilowatt hour battery pack in the car with the motors, hopefully spinning up. The body is probably going to be off it. In fact, I can quite easily see us getting this vehicle moving without the body. That's going to be pretty fun, isn't it?
That's going to be exciting, isn't it?
So, body off, just a frame, donuts in the car park.
And a pair of goggles.
And a pair of goggles, yeah. Proper, like, Biggles goggles. So, but I've got a really important question to ask you girls and guys out there, which is, what's the name going to be for this car? Because Buffy was just a throwaway idea I came up with right at the start, but I've not decided fully on the name yet. And we're going to have it sign written in that old 1960s style down the side of the car. So ideas, please. Comments below. What would be a good name for this car? I want to hear some, mashups of Beetle and Bug and, electricity and, things like that thrown together. Oh, Tim's got an idea.
Volts and amps we want in there, don't we? Something
Volts
like
and
that.
amps, yeah. Like Lightning Bug or something like that. Names for the car, please. Comments below. I can't wait for your suggestions because, I've got a few. Have you got one?
I've got a couple, yeah. I'm just thinking maybe we could do a little prize for the winner.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Prize for the winner. If I decide to take your idea, there'll be a prize for you. No idea what. Tim's come up with that idea, so it'll be a really rubbish prize. Bag of sweets, probably. So there you go. You're right up to date with the race car project. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you on the next one.